What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another video just for you. Okay, so today's video, another reaction one. This is going to touch on a subject that I haven't really talked about on my channel before, and that's the transgender community. Me personally, I don't have any issues with anyone who's trans or identifies trans, who want to go down that route in terms of what decision they want to take in their lives. You know, I don't have any issues with y'all. The only time I have any issues is when you try to force that on other people who may not necessarily agree with it in any form. You know, if people don't agree with that, you just have to let it be. You know, you can't force people to identify with something like that. Just like, you know, there are people who probably against the gay lifestyle, the lesbian lifestyle, you know, whatever the case may be. But getting back to the trans aspect, you know, if that's what you want to do with your life, especially when you're an adult making that decision, because I don't think non-adults or teenagers should be making decisions like that, because when it comes to identifying as trans, or you know, wanting to have a sex change or anything like that, those are decisions that adults should make. Nobody under the age of, I would say, nobody under the age of 21 should be making a decision like that. But getting back on topic here, you know, I have no issues with that community as well. And if you're trans and you listen to my channel, you know, nothing personal against y'all, but like I said, the only time I take issue is when you try to force that belief or that lifestyle on other people who may not be a fan of that. You just have to accept that, you know. Now, another thing is that, and this video is going to talk about it. This will be courtesy of Reva TV. So shout out to her. Go follow her if you haven't done so already. She does good videos. I'm going to react to another one of hers, and yeah, she does good work, and this video is going to be a good one. So shout out to her, and fair usage for the video, fair usage. And before I get to the video, it's another example that I want to go into. This was from a few years back. I want to say sometime between maybe 2016 and 2018. Genuine, the singer, he was on a show, and I believe the show was not in the United States. And another person that was not in the audience, but another person that was present during the discussions was somebody who identified as a trans person. I believe this person was biologically born as a man, but they identified themselves as a woman. Now, there was a point when Genuine, if I remember correctly, Genuine was more or less saying, you know, he didn't swing that way, you know, and he wasn't being nasty about it or anything. He just didn't swing the way, you know, that's his preference. You know, every man is free to make his own choices, right? You know, so that was his choice. And like I said, he wasn't nasty. But this person, I guess you could say that they took offense to it in a way, and then he or she, you know, I'm gonna just say they, okay, tried to come at him and tried to force herself on him and all that stuff. It then became a controversy for all of a week or two. And people were blasting Genuine for his behavior. And even then, I'm like, how the hell y'all gonna blast him for his behavior? I mean, the man clearly said he didn't swing that way. So what is he supposed to do? Just totally ignore how he feels just to welcome the advances of somebody that he's not attracted to? I mean, is that what we was coming to then? You know, and I don't think that we're coming to that now. You know, no way should a self-respecting man of any kind be subject to something like that. You know, if dating or seeing a trans person is not your thing, it's not your thing. You can't force that on people. And that's obvious, you know, and we're dealing with adults. I mean, come on now. But that one always stuck out to me. And like I said, you know, I'm sure most of you probably remember that, because like I said, it was a controversy for all of 2 weeks, you know. So continuing on, so this video, basically what Reva is talking about is, now it seems like we're at a point where if you identifying as trans, and this is specifically those who identify as trans women, they feel as though they don't have no obligation to tell another person, specifically a man, that they're trans. And look, let me tell you something before we get into this video. Check this here. and I'm probably going to say this again during this video, but look, if you're operating in a stance like that, I want to say borderline arrogant as well as entitlement too. If you're operating like that, whereas you're misleading the man and you're also taking the choice away from the man, if you're operating like that, okay, you're likely putting yourself in danger. You're going to get your ass hurt. Now I'm not advocating for violence. We don't do violence over here on team discipline, but I would hate to see somebody unalive because of that. And unfortunately, we have seen real cases where, trans people are losing their lives because of the decision that they make, and it's not worth it. Don't you think you owe it to the person to tell them up front? Now, there's a certain timing aspect to it, yes, but you have to be upfront with people. You can't be playing with people like that these days. You will get hurt behind that. It's not worth that. Now my thing is, and I'm probably getting a little bit ahead of myself, and I haven't even started reading this video yet. But my thing is, if you don't want to tell them up front, you're either ashamed of the decision that you made, or you feel as though you got it like that you don't have to say a damn thing. You're going to force this person to accept who you are, and you can't do that. You just can't. So with all that being said, John, I'm going to go ahead and get my screen shared, and we're going to go right into Reva's video. And again, shout out to her, fair uses for the video. So let's go ahead and get to it.
Look fine. I don't think it's gay that a straight man messes with a trans. I have dudes that know and take me out, take me to dinner, even here in Miami. The dangers of not telling is getting your head blown off. One time I didn't tell, and that situation was definitely crazy. There's this dude I was fascinated about, right? I knew he worked at this certain club. He was like a big guy at the club, whatever. Street turned educated.
He was straight, or like
yeah, he definitely had girls. So things started progressing really fast. I was getting drinks. Next thing you know, I'm too drunk to drive. And so he was like, I'll take you home. We got in the truck. We went to his house. We go upstairs, going to the bed. Get to the business. I'm on there trying to I don't want to do nothing. And it's like the thing is, when you don't tell him, you just hope and hope until when it comes to that point that he accepts it, he got to touching and feeling and notice certain things. And I was like, oh Lord, here it is. And instantly snap. And goes to his back room and grabs a AK or something. He put an AK-47 to my hand. He's like,
okay, let me stop right there. You see, now there is nothing to be celebrating in terms of this. It's nothing funny about it, but again, everything is a damn joke, right? So now, whatever kind of surgery she had, they did a damn good job, because at first glance you would think this is a biologically born woman, but it's not. And that's the scary part these days. You just never know. Based on what I've been hearing and what I've been seeing. But again, putting the AK-47 to your head. See, this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. You can't do that. You're putting yourselves in unneeded danger by making decisions like that. It is not funny. It's not worth it. And you can't force somebody to accept that lifestyle. You just can't. I mean, that's common sense here. But I guess in present day 2024, when it comes to certain things, common sense is off the damn table. I mean, this is crazy. Let's keep it going.
why should I blow your head up right now? Why should I blow your head up?
Oh,
I'm literally
shit.
am I gonna die today?
Not worth it. Come on, Reed. Okay.
Why you quiet?
Nah, I'm just in shock.
What you in shock about?
Damn. Okay.
Can you get 360?
Yeah, can I get 360 real quick? Okay.
I remember this clip.
What's the problem?
Nah, I'm good. I'm just.
I don't like the silence. It's scaring me.
Nah. I like lace red. I like
nails.
Hell
Hair.
yeah.
What's going on?
Some of the features kind of.
Okay, I want to make about this is that she probably gave off the vibe, quote unquote, that she could be biologically born a man, even though she looks good in this red. You know, I mean, you just never know. So on one end, I get the hesitation here, but let's keep it going. I don't want to spend much time on this because I'm waiting to get to Reba's
Wait,
part.
what the fuck?
What's going on?
Hands.
What you mean the features, Brody?
Nah, shit. Like when I felt the hands, I ain't get to see them.
What?
What the? Nah.
No.
100% woman out of here.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Riva, and I am back again with a new video. As you guys could just see, you guys saw the clip of comedian Drewski when he was on Kai Cenat's platform. I reacted to that video a couple of months ago, and within that conversation, there were a lot of people who wanted Drewski canceled based off of the way that he treated the women within the video. We all saw, like you guys saw just now with the clip too, that he was like, blindfolded. He was touching her hands. He had mentioned that her hands were bigger, and then when he saw her, he was a little bit unaware of if that was a man or a woman. And he faced a lot of backlash. There was a lot of people who were, coming for him, talking about, oh, it's only because she's a dark-skinned woman. And, just a whole bunch of foolish rhetoric. People who just wanted to say things about it because they were not happy by the way that he responded.
And that's basically what it was. It didn't have a damn thing to do with that woman's complexion. Let's keep it
And immediately when I saw this new headline, it made me think about that video in particular. And before we get into that, I'm going to tell you guys why. Because, nowadays when the BBLs are a trend, you redo your whole entire body, the wigs, the lashes, the nails. We're in a space where, in my personal opinion, it is a hard space where you are not able to differentiate between who is a natural born woman or who would be a somebody who is a part of the trans community. And, in that space, there was a lot of dialogue of, him being disrespectful to this woman. There was a lot of people who were upset, saying that even if that person was a part of the community, that it should not have bothered them. It should not have bothered him to that magnitude. But I think that is important when having any conversation like these, that we are very aware of keeping everybody in the entire situation safe to their best benefit. Right. And so I want to play this clip, and then I'm going to go ahead and get into the conversation or my thoughts and my personal opinions on this afterwards.
Okay, now before she starts, now I seen this clip on somebody else's channel that I follow. I can't recall it off the top of my head right now. And I'm going to offer my thoughts here too, but I just want to give you guys an alert, a cringe alert. And what that is that this person here who is trans, her voice is cringeworthy. I mean, it really makes you want to pick something up and throw it across the damn room. So I just want to give you that little disclaimer before we get into the video. I mean, cringe alert, cringe alert. All right, let's get to it, y'all. Sheesh.
I hate the burden of having to talk about my transness on the first or even the second date.
Wow. You would let me take you out twice.
Well, this
And
is
not
ideal.
Right. And not say, just so you know.
If we met out and about, yeah, I'm more likely to hold off longer. Now, online, if I'm like on an app or something, I put it in my profiles. Like, I don't play that game.
No, but if I met you at bar, restaurant, whatever, Raquel, so beautiful, can I take you out? Sure.
It varies, but I'm not going to be like, can you take me out? Sure. Oh, by the way, I'm trans. Like, I might do that, but I don't feel obligated to do that.
Okay, let's stop it right there. Oh, we're obligated. Okay. Check this here. In a sense, you are obligated to share that information because the person that you're going to be dealing with possibly may not swing that way. It's as simple as that. I mean, what are we doing here? You know, that person may not swing that way. I mean, I keep repeating myself because that's what it boils down to. And you can't force somebody else to accept that, or should I say, in this case, you can't force somebody to like someone who is trans. You can't do that, you know, and you do have to share that because, like other content creators have said, when you act like that, you're taking the choice away from the other person, and that's not fair. You know, obligated in the sense, yes, because you're biologically not a woman. You were born as a man, but you identify as a woman. That's not the same thing. I mean, what the hell are we doing here, y'all? I mean, this is so obvious and it's so clear that we shouldn't even be having a discussion about that. But it's like this thing, as well as the, you know, LG. Okay, let me get the alphabets right. LGBT community, you know, it's so widespread now, and it's going to continue to be widespread. And like I said, if you identify with either parts of that community, that's fine. You know, you're an adult, live how you live. You know, you should have the same rights as everybody else. You shouldn't be discriminated against. You should not be met with violence. You should not be met with anything that's going to make you uncomfortable in your own skin. I get that. And like I said, I'm going to continue to say this. When you start forcing that lifestyle on other people who may not agree with it, that's when I have an issue. That's when I was not want to date or deal with a trans person. They don't have to. It's their choice. You know, me, I'm heterosexual. I love. Wow. Okay. I ain't going into the L word just yet, y'all. You know, I like my lady. She is 100% woman from head to toe. And I've always been that way throughout my entire life. And with all due respect, anybody who finds is gay, don't swing that way. I never have, I never will. You know, there's nothing somebody of the same sex could do for me. Nothing at all. So I just want to put it out there. But again, to my point about this here, in a sense, you are obligated because it's not fair to take the choice away from the other person. And when you do that, you open yourselves up to immediate danger. And then if something happens to you, God forbid, if you're unalive, then that's, you know, that's never a good thing. But then if that happens, then it makes people who identify as that, it puts y'all in a situation because, you know, they're going to have to account for that, you know, and dare I say it would force people to think about just what the hell they're doing. You know, you can't do that. You know, you just can't. And lastly, no self-respecting man, especially a black man, wants to be with somebody who thinks that they're a woman, and then like the person said in the opening video, then you get to somebody's house, you're touching and feeling, and you know, things about to get hot, heated, and heavy, you know, about to get busy, you know, somebody about to get broke off. But then the man feels something. Nobody wants to go through that. And then when that happens, yes, naturally, there's going to be a sense of rage at the beginning because of the situation that the man is in. Now, again, I don't advocate for harming nobody, you know, because in a situation like that, no, don't get no gun. Don't put no hands on the person. Don't do that. Just kindly ask them to leave, you know, kindly ask them to leave, lose the number, forget the night ever happened, and you move on. That's all you got to do. You know, be disciplined here. Don't get no weapons. Don't put your hands on them, because when you put your hands on them, that's going to open up a whole nother list of problems, maybe even legal, you know, maybe even getting law enforcement involved. And you don't want to do that, because at the end of the day, it's not worth it. You know, but I don't talk at length about this because, I mean, it's serious business here. You know, so overall, are you obligated? Yes. You need to make that clear. The timing is everything, but the timing is up to the people involved. You know, it's that simple.
All the time.
It's interesting you say you don't feel obligated.
So okay, let me just I want to go back a little bit. I want to just go back.
And that sort of behavior, that's A&E, arrogance and entitlement. Remember that, y'all.
Just so we can get a good look at this, the feature of this person, right? So just looking from face value, even comparing this person to the woman previous before, as I said before, we never saw the woman in the previous video, like, this close to the camera or anything like that. But all we saw was all the additives, right? And, based off of the fact that woman was taller, she has a larger hand, she has larger feet, and all the additives, Dusky was a little bit confused as to what he was dealing with. But then, quite on the contrary, we have this person who's sitting right here who has on, not the longest lashes, not a whole bunch of makeup, wearing natural hair, and is presenting very feminine traits, right? Like a softer face, a softer jawline. You would not be able to, at face value, be able to differentiate if this person is trans or not trans. Now, there's a lot of people who would say, what's the difference? It shouldn't matter if you're attracted to that person or not. Again, thinking of the safety of both parties, it would behoove the person who is in that space to thoroughly communicate prior to the person coming out to the date, prior to the person coming and sitting down with you at the table, exactly where you stand and what your angle is.
Yep. And let me stop right there right quick. See, communication is key. She is 100% right here. You have to communicate with people. You just can't keep things like that under wraps and assume that the person that you're dealing with is going to accept that. You can't do that. You just can't.
And who you really are. To me, this reminds me of that show, Catfish, where they go and they try to link up with the person, and then they end up finding out that it's something, or the person is somebody totally different. It is very similar in the aspect that you are not being forthcoming with your 100% your file.
Yep. And let me speak up, because again, she's right. And regarding the catfishing thing, that's another thing. You're acting deceptively and you're being dishonest. Now just imagine, a situation, no self-respecting man of any kind, especially a black man, wants to see, whether it's on a dating app or whatever, pictures of somebody that they perceive to be pretty. But then when you get in person, it's a whole different story. Nobody wants to be a part of that. The women, on the other hand, will be up in arms if the man perpetrated that. But you see, more often than not, men are not subjecting women to catfishing. It's usually, let's keep it real, it's usually the women that's doing it. And again, you put yourself in dangerous situations when you do that. Y'all remember the girl from a couple months back, the one who said, all men are evil, because she had that thing happen when she was on the BLK app and all that other mess. Y'all remember that, And again, that was a hot topic for all of 2 weeks, and who knows where she is now. But getting back to the point here, identifying yourself as trans, that's essential, just like it is to present your normal self. Nobody wants to be catfish, and nobody wants to be in the presence of somebody that in any other aspect they will not be in their presence because of how they identify themselves as. I'm not a gay man, but I would never put myself in a situation where that sort of thing could happen. You see what I'm saying? No, I do it, and again, you can't play with people like that these days. That's almost akin to playing with people's money. And you know how people get when you mess with their money, they're gonna be ready to lay hands on you. I mean, am I missing something here? Let's keep it going.
Right? So that would be like a person who is going on a date who is married, and they don't tell you until the third date. Women would be in an uproar. They'd be like, oh my God, that's so crazy. Oh, you see the patriarchy, misogyny. Like, they would have all the trigger words to come out and talk about that.
She is 100%
of how distasteful it is. The same thing is that women who are, into heterosexual relationships, if they are in a relationship with a if they were going on a date, with a man, and towards the third date, that's when he would be forthcoming and saying that he was trans. Again, it would be very lopsided in a whole entire different conversation on social media than it is in this conversation. I think
Right.
that it is a very dangerous game to play when in especially something of that magnitude. And I think that again, in keeping everyone safe, in protecting yourself, it would be very smart and wise to be forthcoming of information. When we
Communication.
think about the dating market, how it is now, when we think about how a lot of women are talking about, oh yeah, brokey this and brokey that, and I don't want a man that can do this, and I want a man who's going to pay all my bills, and I want a man who's going to do all the above. You know, it is putting men in certain aspects or brackets where they are branching out, and they're trying to do new things, right? They're trying to take people on dates, they're trying to court women, they're trying to do things. You know, the men who want to get married are trying to again court and follow the proper guidelines on how to vet properly. And if you now have other people entering the conversation or entering the race and are not being forthcoming, that to me, in my personal opinion, it is showing a lack of respect for the men within our community, right? Bottom
Right.
line, I think that it is, again, a very, I have to say it again, I have to continuously say it, a very dangerous game to play. I think it's an unfair game to play. And I think, wouldn't you want somebody to be on a date with you who wants you for who you are?
Right. Right.
Again, it seems very much like a level of catfishing.
All right, y'all. So shout out to Reva for that very good video. She made some very, very good points, you know, highlighting everything. And I largely agree with everything that she said here. So again, shout out to her. And to close this video, again, I must say it. If you want to operate as trans, if you're born biologically a man and you want to identify as a woman, or if you was born biologically a woman and you want to identify as a man, or whatever the case may be, that's up to you. Do you? You're an adult. You're free to make that decision. And like I said, the only time I have issues, and just like everybody else, I'm pretty sure we'll have people to back me up on this. The only time that you would get pushback is when you try to force that lifestyle on other people that do not agree with it or whatever. You know, you just can't do that. And like I said, it's dangerous to put other people in a position like that, especially when you're taking the choice away from them. I mean, it's not fair, you know. And going back to the dangerous aspect, you do not want to be misleading and deceptive and dishonest like that when you get in the presence of somebody else. And then, you know, I mean, come on now. A self-respecting man is being touchy with you, and all of a sudden they don't, okay, let's keep it real here. We adults here. They don't feel a vagina, they feel a penis. That's going to send men into an uproar and an outrage. Outrage. I mean, a rage. Y'all get what I'm saying, you know, and nobody wants to be a part of that, you know, and God forbid that it hits the internet and it goes viral. Then, I mean, then we get into a whole nother level of being embarrassed and humiliated. And then again, you know, y'all know how to talk amongst go. I mean, but like I said, the danger, you know, you got to make more sound and rational decisions. The communication aspect has to be open. And look, if you're afraid, and this is a good point here, if you're afraid of rejection, then you're just going to have to take that chance. You know, now if you're ashamed of what you're doing, then you shouldn't be doing it. You know, you shouldn't be taking people's choices away, and you shouldn't be putting yourselves and other people in danger just because you feel as though you're not obligated to tell it to somebody. The hell if you're not obligated, you know, because in reverse, you would want somebody to be upfront with you. So why they have to subscribe to this position, you know, but you don't have to do it, you know. I mean, it's crazy, you know. And I was going to make a point. I think I got lost, but I'm just talking on this because, I mean, it's simple. You know, you can't treat people like that. You can't act like that. And when you play games like that, you know, and you get in certain situations, then you're going to be looking at yourselves in the mirror like, you know, the coulda, shoulda, woulda aspect. You know, I mean, you just can't do that. So overall, I said it multiple times throughout this video. You have to be upfront with people. Stop playing with people. And in this day and age, when it comes to, you know, the catfishing thing and then the trans thing, you know, people not wanting to identify themselves and stuff like that. That is up there with playing with people's money. And you know how we get, you know, when you play with our money, you know, people are not having it these days. Stop playing with people. It's not worth it. It's not worth getting hands put on you. It's not worth being exposed online. It's definitely not worth your life. So overall, we got to do better in this regard. And again, if you identify as that, that's fine. Do your thing. Do you. You're an adult. You can do that. You know, nobody's advocating for y'all eradication from the earth. Nobody is advocating for that. You know, and if some people are, they better keep that private. You know, I don't advocate for that. We don't operate in any kind of violence over here on Team Discipline. But like I said, do not put people in dangerous situations like that. Should I say, do not operate like that where you're putting yourselves and other people in danger. Just don't do it. It's not worth all that. It's not worth it. So, if you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button. And please let me know your thoughts on this. Because like I said, this is my first time talking about any transgender related issue on the channel. So I definitely would like to know your thoughts as well as what you think about Reva's thoughts as well. And last but not least, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And then tell people, take care of yourselves. And remember, not only is the power of the mind valuable, but you have to communicate with people. You have to be upfront with people, let them know what it is. Do not play with people's feelings. Definitely do not play with their money. And do not feel as though you're too important or you're too entitled or too arrogant to not tell people what you really are. Because if you mess with people like that, especially a self-respecting man of any kind, when you do that, you put yourself in grave danger. And living that lifestyle and subscribing to it is not worth your life. Not worth it.